and today we're going to talk about anthuriums. We've had a few people talk to us or ask us about how to grow their anthuriums, so we'll give you a few ideas today. This is an anthurium flower. You just hone in on that. So it's a love heart shape, and same with the leaves. And the thing about anthuriums, the flowers actually get bigger as the plant gets bigger. So we've got these leaves this size at the moment. These particular ones, or most of the ones that we sell, the ones grown in Holland, the hybrids grown in Holland, actually they'll get a flower, a leaf this big, what's that, 30 or 40 centimetres, and they'll get a flower this big. There are large, medium and smaller growers too, but most of the ones we do are the larger growers, so they're getting a flower about 6 inches in size. You need fairly warm conditions. Most coastal parts of Australia are fine for anthuriums, and you'll find with these ones that are bred in Holland, like that's Europe, and they're breeding them for cold conditions. So we're finding each year the anthuriums that we're getting from there are taking more and more cold, whereas we can leave these outside in winter. The flowers will gradually fall off. You can see this one's starting to go off now. You see that one's just about gone. As it gets cold, we're getting like 6-degree mornings at the moment, and the flowers will fall off, but the plants will still be fine. But we find with some of the other hybrids that haven't been bred so much for cold, we've got to move them inside. So it depends on the plant that you've got. They'll flower from say November anyway, right through. They're still flowering now. The flowers are starting to fall off. So we're into June. So you've got a good 6-7 months of flowering at least. Each year the plant will multiply up, and you can divide them. Very easy to divide. This one here is a bit of a crooked one. This is an orange, what we call Amazing Queen. You just get a shot on the colour of that. It's beautiful. But to divide them, this one here is a bit crooked, so it's not the right time here to do it, but we'll do it anyway. You find if you're going to repot it, you're going to divide it. We'll probably get, I don't know, 3 plants in there. You've got to know what size you're going to put it into, but we always cut a little bit off the bottom there. And something about plants with thick roots like this, and orchids and lots of other plants, you never want to get them too wet, and they always want to be in a really well-drained potting mix. It's just a sign that the plant is adapted to drier conditions. Give them water, sure, but don't get them real cold and wet all the time. So what we'll do, just to start with, we've had a look at the roots. We'll just take a little bit off the bottom there. We know what pot we're going, size pot. When you prise roots out, this goes for a lot of plants, always start underneath, down at the bottom, and come up and gently prise them apart. Just don't go because you might break it off there. What you've got to try and do is separate these. It's very easy to do, but you don't use too much force. You just get your fingers right in underneath and gradually pull them apart. And a lot of plants will come apart easier than these, but you've got to try and keep it all intact. So you try and separate them out, so you get your fingers right in the roots. As long as you've got some roots, you can feel them. You have to break these apart because the roots are matted right in together. And see, there's one. There's one there. Yep. Probably take a little bit more off. When you repot a plant, often you'll find that it'll grow a whole new root system. A lot of these older roots may just die off anyway. When you put it in, see they've got aerial roots, like this one's up in the air when it came out of the pot. Get it back, that aerial root, get it back under, or otherwise you're going to, if you plant it there like that, you're going to have an unstable plant. So you plant it about there, and you can see a little aerial root coming out there already. So you could actually plant it right up to there. So you put that back into a pot about that size. Never overpot them. People have done articles on overpotting, but always keep them nice and tight rooted. Don't put it in a great big pot or you just drown it with water. And gradually pot it up, just like an orchid. So we'll pot it to about there. And the potting mix that you use for anthuriums, again, it's similar to a bromeliad mix, cordylines. And no, we don't need the phone at the moment. What we do is roughly 50% normal well-drained potting mix, 40% coarse pine bark, 10 to 15 millimetre bark, and then 10% charcoal. The anthuriums love charcoal. You could probably add a bit more if you like. Everyone's got their own mix for them. As long as it's really well drained, you can throw in a little bit of blue metal as well, a fine graded blue metal. They like that too. So, but don't just copy the mix that they come in from the nursery, because sometimes they grow them in horrible things like peat moss, and that's all right for that nursery. Excuse me for a sec. It's finished. Good. That's keep going. So that's that one. I'll just show you another plant. When you get a bigger anthurium, here's one.
Bob, 1.5 minutes. 1.5 minutes left.
Here's a larger one. Now, if you come in close, you can see we've cut this one off several times already. This is what you can do. As your plants age, they'll go up in the air and they'll form these aerial roots. This one's quite nice at the moment, but they can get, much bigger, and you can have aerial roots coming down like this. So just imagine that this is an aerial root about 30 centimetres long. Hold on, I'll just put this phone over here. Yeah. So what you do with this, if you cut this off here, now just imagine it's a foot higher, just cut it just below those aerial roots, and you can plant that top as long as you've got a couple of roots there. And then from where you've cut it, that will regrow. See how this was one plant and now it's 4, right? But if it's, say, it was a foot long, you've got a stem there with aerial roots on it.
30 seconds left.
And so you can use that, you can lay that down in a pot, and that'll send up shoots as well. So that's how you look after your anthuriums. So remember, you can do it, always with your anthuriums, your beautiful plants. And our website's www.paraplants.com. I'll see you next time.